We have the Houston Texans taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is your Week 4 2023 prediction and preview video. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Also hit the like button. This is taking place at Houston in NRG Stadium. So let's start off with the home team. The Houston Texans have looked good so far. CJ Stroud is not just a top rookie quarterback in the NFL. He's playing like a top quarterback in the NFL. CJ Stroud is a very good quarterback so far. And last week, they pulled an upset against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They play very good football on the offensive end and on the defensive end. I want to start off with their offense and their keys to victory in this game. So far, CJ Stroud has been a beat-up quarterback. The first 2 weeks of football were not pretty. They have struggled to protect him up front. When we talk about the Week 1 matchup that they had to go against with the Baltimore Ravens, he got sacked 5 times, and then the Indianapolis Colts, he got sacked a lot as well. I'm looking at this from this point of view. He's done well with pressure, but they have to continue to protect him up front. I understand Titus Howard hasn't been able to play just yet. He's been dealing with an injury, and he is still on IR. Last week, Laramie Thompson was not able to play. Half the offensive line is already on IR. I expect for these guys still to go out and compete. They did a phenomenal job of protecting him last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 0 sacks allowed. And CJ Stroud made those guys pay for it. They couldn't get pressure, and when they tried to bring in a blitz, it didn't work out either. CJ Stroud ended the day phenomenally. 20 for 30 on the day, 280 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he has yet to turn the football over in the NFL. They have to go out and keep things simple with him, try to get the run game going. The run game has not been his best friend just yet. Last week, Devin Singletary had a decent day, 9 carries, 41 yards, while Dameon Pierce continues to have some difficulties getting spacing due to his offensive line. He was 14 carries to 31 yards and 1 touchdown last week. They have to go out there and try to establish the run and protect him as much as possible up front, because they have TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, 2 guys that can wreck a game. They're going to try to get the ball away from CJ Stroud, get the ball out quick, and continue to feed the ball to playmakers like Tank Dell and Nico Collins. Last week, Nico Collins was not the #1 wide receiver, but in weeks before, Nico Collins has been the go-to guy. Last week, Tank Dell came onto the scene, and he had a phenomenal day. 5 catches for 145 yards and 1 touchdown. This is a very young but a good offensive Houston Texans team that has those injuries on the offensive line. Go out, protect your franchise quarterback, and let him read through his progressions. He's insanely accurate. All these guys have to do is just get open and make the Pittsburgh Steelers get frustrated and try to send off a blitz, because CJ Stroud is very good against the blitz right now. Now, when we talk about the defense, they had to generate some pressure around Kenny Pickett. Will Anderson, Jerry Hughes, those guys are going to have to step up. Will Anderson did record a sack in Week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. He has to step up big in this game. If he's not getting sacks, go out there, try to blow up the run. Do not let the Pittsburgh Steelers get that run game going against you. Then they're going to work off a play action. They're going to try to get the ball to guys like George Pickens and Calvin Austin III and Pat Freiermuth. Go out there and make sure that they cannot run the ball and dominate at the point of attack and put bodies around Kenny Pickett. Make him uncomfortable. And when he does get outside the pocket, they have to have guys there that can go in and bring pressure to him. Will Anderson has the type of makeup and that athleticism to get off the edge and try to just go in and put a lot of pressure on Kenny Pickett. They need that. And they need to try to get these receivers at the point of attack. Kenny Pickett right now is having problems seeing the field against tough defenses. I understand that the Houston Texans do not have that much in terms of talent on their defense to the NFL circle, but in my opinion, they have some good veterans, and they have some guys in the team that can come in and they can give Kenny Pickett some problems. Now, last week, they're without Derek Stingley Jr., and they're going to be without him for the next couple weeks as well, as he is still suffering from a hamstring injury. That would definitely help out in the secondary, but you still have some good players in the secondary. Be on the lookout for some big plays across the middle from Calvin Austin III, but most importantly, keep these wide receivers in check. Do not let them run those slant routes. Take off those routes, crowd the line of scrimmage, and make the Pittsburgh Steelers beat you over top. Make them get creative with their offensive coordinator and Matt Canada and control the game. I think the Texans have a winning formula if they can go in, not turn the football over, which CJ Stroud has been great at, and their defense can just maintain and hold on and bring pressure until Kenny Pickett. This could be a trap game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let's talk about the Steelers. Last week was a very good week against the Las Vegas Raiders. They dominated the game until the 4th quarter. Then they had a lot of penalties and a lot of things that didn't go their way. Kenny Pickett finally had 2 touchdowns in the game for the first time in his career. Let's build off of that. Kenny Pickett last week was very good. The offensive line did a better job protecting him, and that's what you're going to have to do this week. You're going to have to do a better job of protecting him and continue to do that up front, because when you give Kenny Pickett time, they're in a very good situation. Kenny Pickett last week was 16-28, 235 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, only got sacked once, and that was going against Mad Max Crosby. Go out there, do some double team blocking if you need to against this front of the Houston Texans, but protect Kenny Pickett and get the run game going. Last week, Najee Harris averaged 3.4 yards a carry, and he hasn't had that effectiveness yet on the field. And it's not because he's a bad running back. This offensive line has to do a better job run blocking. Try to get the run established, because if you can't, then D'Amico Ryans dial up some wall stunt blitzes, and it's going to make life hard for Kenny Pickett to get the ball out to these wide receivers such as George Pickens and Calvin Austin III. Calvin Austin last week had a very good touchdown that went for 72 yards. Continue to get him the football in open space and target the middle of the field. Pat Freiermuth last week had a touchdown in the red zone, but he did have 3 catches, 41 yards. Also look towards his way as well. We all know George Pickens is going to get the ball. He's the #1 wide receiver right now while Deontay Johnson is out. But target the middle of the field, something that Matt Canada hasn't wanted to do and something that he's lacked. But when they do target the middle of the field, a lot of good things happen. So try to get the middle of the field going and get the ball to Calvin Austin III and George Pickens deep if you need to, and try to utilize Pat Freiermuth as much as possible in this game. He's a big target, and he can be a safety blanket for this team. Go back to how Big Ben used to use those tight ends and get that rapport going with Pat Freiermuth for sure. Run the football, protect Kenny Pickett as much as possible, and just let it rip. It's all the Pittsburgh Steelers have to do offensively. The rest will set in place, and they can drive down the field. Now, defensively, they're amazing. I love their pass rush. Even without Cameron Hayward, they're amazing. Larry Ogunjobi had a good day against the Cleveland Browns a couple weeks ago. Then you have Keanu Benton, who had a good sack in the 4th quarter. Now you have TJ Watt, who was the best defensive player in football. Alex Highsmith had a quiet day last week, but I do believe that this is going to be a bounce-back game for him. Go and put pressure on CJ Stroud and make it hard for him to see the field. Go and play tough defense, AFC North style, and go out there and put a hurting on CJ Stroud. Go out there and put as much pressure on him as possible. They have done that with every quarterback so far that they face. They did it in week 1 against Brock Purdy. TJ Watt did the hurting. The rest of the defensive line was missing, but TJ Watt was able to get some sacks in. Week 2 against Deshaun Washington crew, they made his life a living hell, and they did the same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. Do the same thing with this rookie quarterback and frustrate him. I wouldn't blitz. This is the one time I wouldn't blitz a rookie quarterback, because CJ Stroud is so good against a blitz. You can be creative with it. You can do a blitz like how you did with Micah Fitzpatrick last week, to where you still have the safety over top, but be careful with that, because if he can get the ball off, a guy like Tank Dell has amazing speed and he can burn the secondary. But guys like Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace have to step up. And the reason why I'm honing in on this, the Steelers are known for playing down the competition in the Mike Tomlin era. They can't do that with this team. This could easily be a trap game. I think this is going to be a very good football game to watch, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have the veteranship, and they also have a strong defense that they can depend on, while the Houston Texans are still rebuilding and they're still young. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game 24-17. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game, the Steelers or the Houston Texans? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.